What's up? This is Reg, the bad guy. Oh, what's Uncle Reg? This is Uncle Reg, Celebrity News. What's up? What's up? Almost forgot. You know more. It's Uncle Reg. That's right. With the news, with the tea. Alright, we're gonna get in with the P. Diddy. We're gonna do the basically sixth through the ninth day of trial. Of this epic trial that's going on. Um, a lot of stuff happened, this trial. Um, some surprising things, some unsurprising things, some things that we probably already know what's going to happen anyway. So, maybe, where's my sound? Yeah, okay, get my horn. So, we're going to start with the sixth day. Support the channel, hit the hashtag super chat. I appreciate it. Give a like, We see who will come over here and hear this. So the first thing we gotta go through is the sixth day, basically. Don Richards, which was actually, one of P. Diddy artists, for Dante Kane, that he created, and with that Bad Money, whatever P. Diddy, other group to be formed with P. Diddy and her and somebody else, I think. I don't know. But yeah, she got on the stand and testified. Now, she testified the day before, and she came back and finished the testimony and stuff. And basically her testimony was basically about how P. Diddy, he saw when P. Diddy beat up Cassie and stuff. It was in a hotel kitchen incident. Now, she changed the story on a little bit here and there, but still was a solid testimony. But a lot of people think that, the defense really got her because she changed the story on that, She was saying that he had a gun, he didn't have a gun, he didn't have a gun, So, it was really cross-examining her and stuff. But, she saw when P. Diddy threw that skillet at her, the eggs in it, And he, let's see, also, let's see, and then Don Richards saw Combs punch with her at a restaurant. And then several people, for the record, they were witnessing in a room at dinner. Combs had argued quite, and then he reckoned the punch. This is the word I think with punch in the stomach where they mentioned Usher. Usher and Jimmy Iovine was there. I think this is the situation where she testified where, because their name was mentioned. It says right here, see, Richard cross-examined that R&B singer Usher, Nico, and Beats Electronic co-founder Jimmy Iovine were among the celebrities who were in the restaurant that day. That's when she got punched in the stomach. One time Usher name really got brought up in the trial. So did Nico, I didn't know his name got brought up. But wow, I almost missed that one. We got it now. So she testified on that. Let's see where else. Yeah, Richard said that she saw Combs taking drugs and carrying a gun. Now this is where it gets weird because he changed her when she got across the center. She changed the story. Still, this is all damaging, man. This is damaging. This is damaging, man. Straight up. So when she got off the stand, After she got off the stand, they got Carrie Morgan. Carrie Morgan is her best friend, her former best friend. Now she was a sixth witness to testify. You know, and she said that was on the stand saying that the reason why they don't speak is because of Combs assaulted her. You know, she said she started with friends because her boyfriend assaulted me, best in front of her and shot Diddy Combs. Okay. Now they talked about the relationship because they've been best friends for a long time. It says Morgan said the first met Cassie at Marlin Shoot when she was 16 and Ventura was 15, around 2001. Started living together in 2004 in New York City. And then a few years later, friendship Ventura didn't think much of alcohol and didn't use any drugs. So she wasn't using drugs at the time when she was that young, they say after she just started using it around 21, I guess. I'll make this all together. And then Morgan said that, John was very generous and stuff, extremely generous, and became aggressive. Let's see. And he criticized her opinion. This is when Cassie first got with P. Diddy. Because, Morgan and Cassie were still friends at the time. So, remember that someone was saying that, he didn't like her look because she looked too Mexican and stuff. And, you gotta fix that, and we might give you some breast implants, this and that, the third, and all that. Let's see, assaulted her twice. Now, Morgan said that she witnessed Combs assaulting her and said she saw Diddy 2 occasions. They said the one occasion Morgan said that Combs at Los Angeles home where Combs turned one of Combs' security guards. I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her. Okay. On the other side of the bed. So I'm not sure if he kicked her or not. The movie said he asked Combs, the security guard, to intervene, but he responded that he wasn't going to do anything yet. So whoever that security guard was, he wasn't going to intervene. He would lose his job. They probably would have shot him. So wait, he did. He wrote him. And Morgan said he left the house, hitting the stairs. Combs' security guard was right on the street looking at them. Eventually, Ventura went back to Combs' house, and Morgan went to the hotel. And then Morgan said Combs assaulted Ventura in Jamaica. This is another time. It was in Jamaica. Assaulted her there. He said, okay. Combs left the room, telling Morgan that she was taking too long in the bathroom. He said her Cassie screamed and ran down the hallway. Morgan said that Combs dragged her by the hair in the hallway 10 feet before he ran to get her purse and he back outside. Okay. And the Morgan went outside and Ventura hit the head and pushed her on the ground. She had stayed loose, fetal position, eyes closed. Thought she was knocked out. So he was beating her anywhere he wants. She just said, this is who crazy, man. Okay, Morgan found Ventura and hitting in a ditch for a while, for hours, eventually going back to the house to testify. Alright, but and see, this is where she got the bump on her forehead, probably got the gash. I think she got the gash earlier when she hit her, she fell down and hit her head, I guess. And they showed pictures in court of the gash she had. That shit was big. It was like damn. Oh man. crazy. And then this is the incident they always talked about too, is that after the hotel saw Combs went to Ventura apartment and banged on the door with a hammer. That was March 2016. It was another incident. Now, the incident which the surveillance camera captured Sean, here you go, dragging and kicking Cassie at the. So that's at the Intercontinental Hotel. We didn't know this part that he had a hammer banging on the apartment door. We didn't know that. We just saw him kicking and stuff like that. We didn't know this dude had a hammer too. This is some wild shit. And they talk about that incident there too. And then Morgan said that she received money from Combs following the alleged assault because he beat her up. So that was basically the 6th day. I'm going to go through and go to the 7th day now. Now the 7th day, is a mother, Cassie's mother, get on trial. That's the 7th day. Now, this was explosive here. Cassie's mother said she was extorted, of course. We all know that by P. Diddy. Because, P. Diddy found out, that Cassie was, had a relationship with DJ Cudi. Not only that, her mother found out that, she was getting beat up too. And I guess P. Diddy was gonna put out the sex tape, this freak out tape. I think it was 2 of them she was in at the time. Gonna put those 2 out to expose her. She didn't keep silent and all that. And she wanted money. And P. Diddy demanded money because she put up enough money on Cassie. He put up a lot of money on Cassie, and he wanted to get his money back. So he charged her parents, 50 grand. They had to take out a loan. Her parents had to take out a loan. So it was 50 grand, 30 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand. Something like that. Let me see who's in the chat. Probably nobody in the chat. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured it'd be the weekend. Probably nobody really in here today, but I'm just gonna go through what I need to go through. It was 20 grand. She said I took out a loan with 20 grand. I thought it was more than that. It was 20 grand. Took out because he said he put up a lot of money on Cassie, and he found out that Cassie had a relationship with somebody else, DJ Cudi. He was mad. He wanted to get compensated. It's crazy. I think, oh yeah, I missed it, something. Okay, the day 7, a couple things happened. They said before that Cassie mom got on the stand. David James, testified. He was an assistant, and he was one that provided pills, and drugs and whatever for P. Diddy. And one of the pills, had the, I guess, ecstasy pills had the Obama face on it. I guess it was some special ecstasy pills or whatever the case may be. He provided a lot of the stuff for him and stuff. So he testified. He rolled over. Now, I think he pleaded guilty. No, I don't think he's going to be able to get into that. No, that's somebody else. But yeah, he took the stand. His ex-assistant. There was a lot of baby oil drugs used, whatever pills he needed. The MDA, the MD, what was the MD, MA, that drug, fentanyl, all that shit he provided for P. Diddy. So he told it all to court. And then David James also talked about the incident with Suge Knight. That there was at some sort of, let's see, Jimmy James talks about it when he comes. Yeah, there was that dinner when the security guard came in and said that they saw Suge at the diner. And they left the stuff to go see Suge, I guess. Now Cassie was crying, talking about don't go and stuff like that, whatever the case may be. It's obvious the girls were in love with this dude. Now they said that James said that the night was gone when they got back to the restaurant. So he was already gone. Good thing, because it would have been a murder there. Instead of Suge Knight being in jail, he would have been dead already. Good thing for that. You can say the luck of the Irish. So that's day 7. But day 7, that was that, and then it was Cassie's mom was a big thing. So that proves that he was, using blackmail extortion. Just because he found out that Cassie's mom, was on his ass because he being her daughter and stuff. And then not only that, he found out that Cassie was dating DJ Cudi. And this ties into DJ Cudi car getting blown up and his house being vandalized by P. Diddy. P. Diddy and Associates. But just the fact that you extorted Cassie parents for 20 grand, he said they got the loan, pay it P. Diddy money. Now they say that P. Diddy gave the money back and all that stuff. And somebody said that in the court, but damage is already done. Damage is already done. So next team is going to day 8. Oh, before we day 8, let's see. Okay, what's that? Yeah, George Kaplan. This is another one. This is a former executive assistant. Now, he worked for P. Diddy. What day? I don't know what to say. But he worked for him. But he overworked him. Basically, he's saying that he did overwork him. Remember, they were saying in one of the charges he was the work environment was hostile. He worked his dude 80 to 100 hours a week. Paid $125,000. to handle his text messages, communication between him and Diddy, calls, emails, other things he needed, drugs, liquor, whatever the case may be. And he said that he was threatened on the job monthly. He was there to actually protect his image and stuff. Now, Captain did testify picking up drugs, for combs and cash that he gave him. And one time he picked up the MDMA, which he didn't know what it was. He picked it up, but he didn't know what this drug was. Now, before we got on the stand, this dude pleaded the fifth. The judge granted him immunity so he can testify. So that was it. And I think the defense didn't like it. The defense was like, oh shit, this motherfucker actually pleaded the fifth. That's bad. I mean, one of your witnesses or witness to be, plead the fifth because they don't want to incriminate himself. So what's going to happen is that a lot of these people, these folks that's testifying, some of them is going to, the Fed is going to circle around and charge them, and they're all going to plead out. Everyone's going to plead out. I don't see how Diddy going to do no less than 20 years. I just don't see how he's going to do no less than 20 years. I just don't know. I don't see it. If he do less than 20 years, like maybe 10, maybe 15, it'll be a goddamn miracle. Somebody must be watching over him. Maybe the devil watching him, give him another shot. Maybe the devil give him another shot. The devil don't give you another shot. Give you that big shot and that's it. After the time up, they go to the next one. They're going to place you with the new dude on block, which lead to who's going to take over Puffy place after P. Diddy in jail, gone, financially destroyed. So we're going to go to the ninth day. The ninth day is the last day, before, it was Friday, basically, and this was the star witness was DJ Cuddy. Talked about, got him on stand, talked about the relationship, Cassie, general questions, occupation, what he does, relationship between Cassie when they started dating, which was 2008, 2011. When did he find out, he was dating, December 2011. And then Cassie was scared and stuff. I think they met. I think both of them met at a hotel with Capricorn Clark, which was another person of interest. When he brought up. I think she was on the stand too. Anyway, apparently he called P. Diddy. About the situation and stuff. When I talked to P. Diddy, try to sort this out. And P. Diddy called him and said that, I guess hinted that he was at his house. He got to his house. It looks like nobody broke in, but somebody did break in. There's security cameras all turned the other way or whatever, messed with. Not only that, someone put his dog in the bathroom. It was locked. He opened the door. The dog came out, jumping on him and stuff, like he was frantic and stuff. Like the dog was scared, like somebody did something to the dog. Now, a lot of people heard this part of the testimony. He was upset because he was dealing with a dog and abusing a dog. And we don't know what he did to the dog. Kicked him, whatever, I don't know. But this is crazy. And then he talked about the time when his car, he torched his car with Molotov cocktails, Porsche. You know, they show pictures of that in the court. It's the damage and stuff, and the hole into the roof of the car where the Molotov cartel was thrown at. They also took DNA samples of the car and found out that it came back. The DNA samples on the car was from a woman. So apparently a woman, or P. Diddy got a woman to torch his car. Interesting. They didn't say too much about that. You know, maybe the defense should have pressed. Okay, who's this woman that but they don't know. You know, because nobody followed up with it after that. You know, and then he was on the stand. Last part he said he was on the stand, excuse me, is that why do you break up with Cassie? And he said that, you know, it was too much drama going on, and yeah, after you get the car across and you're breaking your house, you know, you're trying to talk to him and nothing coming from it. You know, yeah, so there's too much drama going on. And he was concerned for not only his safety, but Cassie's safety, so he broke it off. Same thing as Cassie broke it off. They both agreed to break it off and stuff. So that was it for him. So, no more testimony from him. So that's it. Basically, you know, there's a lot of stuff that was said and stuff. I didn't want to go over too much of it because you guys already know most of it already. But, folks, this is real bad. Honestly, I don't know if who's next. And there were some people saying that, oh, he's gonna get off. You know, Don Richards, you know, her testimony, the defense tore apart. She had holes in her testimony, this and that. No, man, no holes in her testimony and stuff like that. They haven't proved RICO case, they haven't proved sex trafficking and stuff. When you had several people who came in and said I was a male sex worker, came on the stand and said this. They're a male sex worker, and they got cash from him, or his organization. That's prostitution. Prostitution is still illegal. Some people just is not thinking. He was giving these guys cash. They was male sex workers. In the testimony, they said that P. Diddy gave this guy with the Punisher a wad of cash. Boom. Man, simple as that. Come on now, man. Stop it. It is what it is. So, it's going to be interesting. The break right now, Memorial Weekend. Someone said about Drake, why Drake ain't on the stand, Drake's not going to testify. I haven't heard anywhere where Drake is going to be on the stand for anything. I don't know why Drake would be in it in the first place. Everybody went to these P. Diddy parties and everybody is silent. I mean, big time silent. They don't want their name to be mentioned, associated. Question is that when is J-Lo gonna come on? If she's gonna come on, they saying that she's gone. She's not around. She's out the country. It's gonna be crazy. So the last day, basically, they was talking to federal investigators and stuff. You know, They did a raid on them and they found a lot of stuff. You know, found a lot of drugs, crystal rock like substance, plastic straw, $100 bills, other items. The Coke bottle eye drops found inside the bag tested positive for MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, ketamine, according to stipulation. Various pills tested positive for MD and all prezolam, ketamine, and methamphetamine, according to this stipulation. A lot of drugs used. A lot of drugs. Now with the baby oil, they was trying to say that something was in the baby oil, but apparently from what I'm getting, they didn't say anything was in the baby oil, mixed into the baby oil. It was just straight baby oil. And astroglide, which he used for, I think, for the sex play. It says 25 bottles, baby oil, 31 bottles of ruby were found in the closet. This is where they raided his house at. Gun, 45, handgun, covered in a suitcase, found with purpose in a guard stack, property guest house. It's confirmed that AR-15 firearm was found. Now he's gonna get it. Now that's an open carry state, so you can have guns, I think. But certain guns you still can't have, like guns like the AR-15. They modified it, you don't have any problems. You know, as far as I know, somebody correct me. And then they had a psychologist that explained the behavior of abuse victims, which is Cassie. People were saying that why didn't she leave? That was the whole big thing. Anybody else would have left, but she can't leave. So they had this clinical forensic psychologist that testified in general terms about the behavior of people who are domestically violent, sexually assaulted, and traumatic stress. So they went into how Cassie it's a case study of a typical abuse person that's trapped, can't get out. So that should clear up a lot of stuff too. But see, some people just saying, she wanted it, she did this, she wanted this, she loved him, and that's some bullshit. It's crazy. At some time, you find out if you're getting beat all the time that she was. Come on. There ain't no love. If you can't get out, so I'm glad they had a psychologist come up there and explain why he couldn't leave. So, that's it, really. I wanted to come on here and talk about a little today. I know it's the weekend and stuff, but I had to go through this. I kind of did this a little quick. Even though, I talked about it all through the week. Sometimes, these notes is over here and over there. I gotta get it together and stuff. Talk about it. So, in conclusion, next week gonna be something. Everybody had time to rest and hang out. So it's gonna be something. I'm waiting for who else gonna testify. Who's gonna be the next star witness? So I was expecting her mom to come up there. And I was expecting, the Kaplan guy to plead the fifth. That was another one. So, and DJ Cuddy. That was the 3 last week. Star witness. So let's see who else gonna come up. We still got a month or so to go. It ain't over yet, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. And those fools out there saying P. Diddy go free, saying free P. Diddy, y'all some suckers, y'all crazy. You know this motherfucker's wrong. You know this motherfucker's wrong. all that. Oh, he's a black man trying to destroy a black. He got billions of dollars in it, man. That's bullshit. At this point, it's bullshit. At this point, that's bullshit because he knew better. Being in America, living in America, how those people on the other side is jealous of you, might want to try to trap you up in some bullshit. You got to be careful. You got to watch your back. If you got any secrets, you really take them to the grave with it because they will use it against you, and you be out here like P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, all the other ones. If you got some sort of sickness, you really better somehow, get yourself into an institution, straighten yourself out or something. And I think it has to do with narcissism too. These dudes are really narcissists. Thinking they can't get beat. You see how Russell Simmons rolled. Russell Simmons said, fuck that. He saw the shit coming down the hill. He didn't care about the shit coming. He figured he could get away from the shit. No. The shit rolled all over his ass, and now he's dead to rights out here. The question is, how many years he's gonna get? Life, 25 years, 20 years. Because I'm hearing, like I said before, I said that the Fed had to offer 20 years. If he turned it down, that means it was too many years that he can handle. It had to be over 15 years or 20 years. He wouldn't do it. They might could have offered his ass 25 years. We don't know, but he said he'd rather fight it in court. So that means they must have gave him double digits. If it was like 10, 50, he probably would have took it and did it. All you do is 80, Fed, do 80%, you'll be out about 8. He probably got to do community service for the rest of his life and shit, it'll be maybe 10 years in what you call that after you do it, I forgot, damn. Oh, probation. You had to do probation for probably for 20 years, but I would do probation for 20 years instead of doing 10. Just do 10 years. I'd take that. Instead of doing 25 or 30 or life. Come on, that's it for him. So they might give him life. We don't know. We have to see. Too early to tell. Yeah, but all these people talking about he's gonna get off. Prosecution got nothing. They lost. They haven't proven nothing. That's some bullshit. The feds don't make mistakes like this. They don't have no sloppy case. Y'all still think about the Young Thug case and stuff. He got all these lawyers on there too. 10 lawyers he got now. At this point, they just there for the money. It's there for the money. Remember, he already lost $700 million, people, from that billion. And by the time this is over, probably we're gonna eat up another 100 million. Which he still be multi-millionaire. But how good is that when you're in jail for the rest of your life? The next 20 years. And I don't think he can handle jail. You see the effects of jail already happening to him already. You're thin stuff, completely gray. And whatever other problems he have and stuff. Shit. He ain't gonna last. I was listening to Gene Seals, I think he was saying, I'm not going to quote him, I think he said or someone else said that if you get in there, he might just off himself. I'm not going to quote him, that's what I think he said. I won't get in trouble. Yeah, but I'm thinking that's the same thing too. He might not be able to survive. not for no 20 years and shit. Fuck. But anyway, that's all I have. So until next time I see you guys on the other side.